I always thought we had a good relationship. I mean, I know, yeah, obviously I went to prison.
Right.
Shortly before that, he had his situation in Virginia, and that's kind of when our relationship changed some. But, I had thought we were still okay because, uh, I didn't take sides on none of that. And it's very hard to be a neutral party in a situation that intense. I let him have his say, I let Julie have her say, and I didn't take sides. I found out about it when he went to jail after the fact. Um, my sister had had multiple conversations with me about what happened. My mom had several conversations with me about what happened. And after he went to jail, I went with Mom to every one of his court appearances. I was a contact with CPS, so then they could get a hold of Fred or Laura. Fred has a weird perspective of how things went down, but my sister had went to talk to Fred. I guess I need to give you a little backstory about why she went to talk to Fred to tell him she was leaving. And she had originally went up there because Laura was having some kind of lower back surgery. It was minor. I've had 2 of them and didn't need no help. But she had the baby, and at that time, Fred had custody of his oldest daughter, and then they had their daughter together and the baby. So there was 3 children plus her daughter, Laura's daughter, from before she met Fred. She would come there and stay. So evidently, Laura having lower back surgery, she needed help. So Mom convinced my sister to go up there and help them, and they had a little camper up there. Julie stayed in the camper with her husband and her daughter, and she would, help with the baby and help, cook and clean and stuff like that. Her husband was ran off. Fred ran her husband off. That's a whole other story.
Right.
Fred, you know all about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yep.
The situation got pretty volatile.
I'm sure.
And Julie had been to enroll her daughter from the school that they were all going to, and she had a conversation with the principal that concerned Fred's oldest daughter, and it had to do something with drugs being taken into school. And she had enrolled her daughter and came back to the house and went in to tell Fred that the school was already aware of drugs coming from there into the school via his daughter, and that they had already contacted CPS. And she was there to let Fred know and give him a heads up, and that she was leaving, and that she didn't want to be no part of it. She was standing there with her car keys in her hand when Fred jumped up out of bed and went off on her, put a gun to her chest. Laura was in the house. She came into the bedroom and was holding the baby and was standing right beside Julie. And Julie was hollering at Laura to get out of the room, take the baby out of the room. And she was begging Fred for her life. He turned the gun and shot into the corner, jumped back in bed and covered up, and Laura took off out the back door and Julie took off out the front door. Julie went to the camper. Laura went to the neighbor's house. Julie called Mom and told Mom. She said, I don't know what to do. She told Mom what had happened. And she told Mom, she said, I know if I get in my car to leave, he will shoot me. While she was on the phone with Mom, Fred had got up and cut the breaker off to the camper. Mom hung up and called the police and told them what was going on. And that was the only thing that she could do. And when the police came, they questioned my sister. She told them, yeah, I got a pistol. They checked it for gunpowder residue. It had none on it. They checked her hands because Fred claimed that she was holding him at gunpoint and had shot at him. They checked her own spot, her hands for gunpowder residue. It was negative. That's why Fred was arrested. That's why Fred was charged with the charges he got. And contrary to him telling everybody he spent 5 to 7 years in prison because of that, he spent 3.5 months and got out. And while he was in jail, every court date that he had, I took Mom to him. And even the court dates that he didn't have, the CPS court dates over the children, I took Mom to those also. So yeah, I was there for all of them. Front and center. The only reason Fred did not get prosecuted for attempted murder is because Julie came back to Tennessee and refused to testify against him because she knew eventually he would get out. And if he tried to kill her once, he would definitely do it again. That's why he didn't do no more than 3.5 months and didn't get no more charges than what he got, is because Julie did not and would not refuse to testify against him.
Right. Nana for Life wants to know, did the CPS worker sit on Fred's lap during court?
No, there was never a time while I was there that I ever seen anything, any interaction like that. Any inmate that was brought in there for court was in shackles, and all those inmates were segregated to a section by
themselves. They keep them separate, yeah. Like when you go to court,
yeah, they were segregated
separate.
And even I pretty much the only person that ever approached them was their counsel, and they were also guarded by officers to keep people from approaching them and to keep them from getting up and moving around or approaching. They were guarded. So no, I didn't see that happen.